Doodle-doodle-doodle. Whoop, whoop. There it is. Let's get into it. You guys don't even know. You think I'm like just doing that as the thing starts? No. I'm literally going doodle-doodle-doodle for like 15 seconds. I don't know what's wrong with it or why it does that, if anybody else's is like that, but my program is weird, and it's been weird, and I don't question it because I got to make a video like every 12 hours. So let's jump right into it. Coach Colin here. Good morning, everybody. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we messed up again. It is 2:30 in the morning. A little bit of an improvement. Past few days, it's been 4 and 3:30 when I've been doing these episodes, but here it is. Hope everybody's having a good morning, whatever you're doing right now. If you're on the way somewhere or if you're just chilling, no pants on, that's cool. I'm not going to judge. It's all good. You know what I mean? You're where you are. You don't need them. It's fine. But let's jump into this whole thing. Candace's live was wild last night. I dropped that episode. You know what I decided I'm going to do on this episode that I dropped last night? I'm going to read the top comments. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to go through that a little bit. People are telling me that I need to agree to be on Barron's members show or something. Yeah, I'm in. Let's go. Tell him I said that. Tell him I also expect $3.13 because I'm suing him for the clap. And if he could also let him know that I need representation to do this. So if he could do me a solid and if he could just do me a solid and represent me as well, that would be greatly appreciated, sir. Let's get into this whole thing. I got a couple of topics this time. I'm going to jump in. One person said, let me just show you what they said here. Where is it? Okay, right here. They said, your take on Erica makes the absolute most sense. It was so thought-provoking and respectful. Please do a follow-up episode. I'm definitely going to be talking about that in this episode. We're also going to touch on Brian Harpole, the man, the mint, the legend, Brian Harpole. We're going to hear what Candace had to say about him, explore that a little bit, because I didn't get to do that yesterday because there was so much content that I had to recap that I just didn't, I couldn't go over to Brian and jump. That's the thing. Candace was jumping from thing to thing. But I think we made it make sense for those of you that weren't catching on. And then we're going to touch on the whole Truman Show thing with Charlie, but also Erica. Okay, that's why I showed you that little thing there. We're going to jump into that. Let's jump into this clip first and listen to what Brian Harpole has going on.
Questionnaires that are filled out that we used to, there was a lot of busy work. And then so, kind of like in the military, what you did, we create forms that, hey, let's get this information up front. Mm-hmm. And so that we have a duplication process so that we can confirm it. And so we started our first, before that one, the 24th of the month prior. And so, and that was with the hard conversations, meetings.
You started that on the 24th?
Mm-hmm. Right. And we
That's
do
2 weeks.
At least. No, well, it started before that with the intelligence gathering and all that. But the hard conversations, the sharing of information, the conference calls, the data sheets, and we put that in a timeline.
The conference calls, the meetings at Fort Huachuca, the detonators assembling those things. I mean, you think they would give it to us assembled, but it's not assembled. You got to like crack it together. It's weird. It's plastic. Then you got to make sure that the Farnsworth guy has his part of it. It's a whole process, you understand? And then I got to tell you, we got to have the mints. The mints are planned like 6 weeks in advance because I need those mints, you understand? And those mints get to me. Because you don't know, there's a lot of lookers on these campuses. And Sean's just like, wow, that's, whoa. Why doesn't Sean ever just say, hey, throughout this whole interview, you know it's your fault though, right? Like, you're not guilty of anything, I guess, but it's not, like, this is your fault. You screwed up, right? Like, I don't understand how that doesn't come up once. He did an interview with Sean. He did an interview with Paramount Tactical, and not one time did it come up that he's like, this is my fault. Someone died on my watch. That's my fault. And it always is whenever that happens. So weird. So weird that never comes up.
On an app, so that this all goes up, and every guy that's on that job can see all the intel that comes in. It's a decentralized command model for the company, and so anybody can make command decisions for the betterment of the client or the team, and so everything goes on that app. And so when I get it, they get it. And when whoever's gathering that intel, it gets it. There's no hold, there's no power hold on it. And so that first information came in on the 24th, and then the information share starts where we're walking through, everything that you need for a detail.
Everything that you need for a detail. Obviously, elsewhere in the interview, he describes this conversation that he had with the chief of police. He's upset about the chief of police not covering the rooftops because he feels that his team was on it. So on it. You're coordinating with whole police departments. You're discussing drones. Drones were not allowed. And so they just had to let that go. Well, interestingly enough, I received a tip from someone that was directly involved with the planning of an event that Charlie Kirk was supposed to attend the following day, on September 11th, the day after his assassination. Charlie was slated to speak in Woodland Park, Colorado, at the Charis Bible College. Okay, so that's in Woodland Park, Colorado. He was slated to speak there. And according to this person, after Charlie got assassinated, there was a bit of a panicked meeting that took place, which was headed by the chief of police. They decided to transform this event into a vigil, and they were panicked because, believe it or not, they had absolutely no security plan in place. They thought, how odd. We don't have a security plan in place. Now we better consider this, and we need to make sure that we have police officer involvement. Why didn't Dan Flood and Brian Harpole and Turning Point USA's security have any coordination with the police department up in Colorado? If this is what they normally do, and whatever the way he over describes that, and they get the plan, and everybody can access and start to begin to speak, and then we speak to the police. I mean, we do all this stuff. We just didn't think to do that for the event that he had the next day. No police officer involvement scheduled, nothing. Suddenly they're panicked because they realize they don't have anything scheduled. Yeah. So the police chief apparently decided to take measures himself to make sure that the vigil went off without a hitch. That's what I mean. When you lie a lot and when you're planning things you're not supposed to be planning, you don't think through every detail. Yeah. As in the next day. If you expected Charlie to make it.
Man. Such a crazy development there. And she's right. She says, I didn't show it in the clip, but she says it at the beginning. She says, whoever told him to do these interviews, bad decision. And she's 100%, like bad PR move. 100% right. There is so many. I alone made, like 4, 5, 6. There's like 6 different things that he mentions. He's like, oh, EMTs weren't there. And it's like, there's clearly videos of EMTs running up to him. There's just so many things like, oh, there's all this blood. Oh, it's crazy. Oh my God. It was like, nah, it was nuts. It was nuts. I could hardly keep my mints in my mouth. And then you look at the video and it's like, no, none of that happened. It's just a thing after thing. It was literally like, I don't know, 12 different inconsistencies in that interview. And then Gary Paramount Tactical, they did an interview, which no one watched because why would you? What? No one watched that. I didn't. Listen, I watch everything. I watch stuff I disagree with. I've sat through an hour of Joy Reid. Easy. An hour of Rachel Maddow. No problem. Anderson Cooper, Don Lemon. Okay? But when it comes to an interview with Gary, the longest one I've ever listened to was Mitch. Him and Mitch, because I was like, okay, I have to listen to this. I forced myself. It was interesting. I wanted to, it was hidden. There's mystery to it. There was an allure. But anything else, this is ridiculous. Why would I do that? That's nonsense. I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he is to somebody. Everybody's a great guy to somebody, right? There you go. But yeah, it's very interesting that they had nothing planned past the 10th. And it shows a lot Well, what else do you say? I mean, Candace said it at the end. If you actually plan for him to make it, you're just kind of sitting back like, it makes you wonder with all those pyrotechnics and stuff at his at the memorial. It's like, how fast did they put that together? Wouldn't you love to see that? To see when that was scheduled? Could you imagine somebody figures out that was scheduled like on the 8th? Like they put that together like on the 8th. And they just didn't say what it was. They're like, oh, we need a stage, but they just weren't like confirming why. I wonder about that. Because they put that together. That was a big event. They put that together quick, fast. Can't usually have people as big as the people who were there just there out of nowhere. You know what I mean? There's usually some prep, some Brian Harpole style prepping. Oh, there's so many sheets. There's so many sheets that we fill out, and everybody has pens in the room. You understand? And it's not like one guy just has a pen and he's writing things. Everybody gets a pen. Everybody gets notes. Everybody gets to write their stuff. And you can have a blue pen or a red pen. And you don't even know. We all got phones and iPads. There's an iPad in the middle. We all connect to it, put notes in it. I'm telling you, it's like a circuit board. It's like a circuit board when we get ready. What happened to Charlie? Oh, that's not my fault. I mean, look at this text message. He said he got me covered. I don't know. He said he got me covered here. Anyway, I guess I'm going to be security for Erica Kirk now. What? No, sir. No, sir. You've done enough. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Let's move on. Brian Harpole. Very weird situation with Brian Harpole. I really want him to do another interview, but I wish it would be an interview where he actually answers the questions. Sean Ryan didn't really ask much like the interviews that he's done have just been people who are on his side or know him through the tactical community or intel community or service, military, whatever, and they're just helping him clear his name. I would like for him to do an interview with somebody. I would like to see him do an interview with Valhalla, because Valhalla was calling him out left and right, or like Jesse or me. What am I naming all these people for? Me and Brian. And the whole interview, I go, hey, how you doing? What's going on? So the first question I want to ask you, why are you talking just like me? Do you talk like this all the time? I talk like this all the time. Are you sure? I mean, this is very weird. You're talking exactly like me. I mean, I know. I thought it was weird too when you walked in the room. You started talking. I thought you were putting me on. That's how the whole interview would go. Oh my God. The dumb skits that I have in my head, man. All right, let's get into the Truman Show aspect of things. Let's talk about this some more. Very interesting stuff. And then we'll move on to Erica after this.
For having a dream that Charlie was betrayed. That's the joke.
Oh, and then we're going to talk about the Gateway program. The Gateway program and the gifted program. They're two separate programs. I'm going to talk about both of them because they're actually connected in a very interesting way.
Right? That's the in the no joke. It's a dream. It's a vibe. It's a vision. It's hilarious because it's ironic. It proves that these people literally had no meaningful relationship with Charlie Kirk himself. Charlie was the king of dreams. It's insane how many messages I have with Charlie Kirk about his dreams. He believed his dreams. You guys have no idea. The vivid dreams. I've only showed you one of the text messages. Since he was a kid, he had those dreams, by the way. And last year, I was like going through a lot, reading back through our text exchanges. I'll be honest with you, it was kind of scary. I did consult a priest. I felt like I needed spiritual guidance because I don't know everything. I don't know how the world works. How was I supposed to suddenly then contend, not just with his murder, but contend with having to read so many messages, so many precise messages of Charlie so convinced that he was going to die young. Like just telling me that repeatedly, he was going to die young. And that turning point was going to be involved, as I showed you. And there was more. And a lot of that still disturbs me. Messages that I found, for one, that didn't register to me as weird then, but one message that I found was Charlie writing to me, like I'm not allowed to go anywhere without security. In retrospect, why? It was Schaefer's security, where Dan Flood came out of and Brian Harpole. I have the text about that. Charlie was not allowed to go anywhere without security. I want you guys to remember, this was not when Charlie was well known. I was not well known. Charlie was not well known. Turning Point was in its infancy, didn't have its big blow up money, didn't have that kind of money at all. And yet already he was not allowed to go anywhere without security. I find that to be odd. Then there was this older man, an older Jewish man that he was seeing for spiritual reasons. And he was an older guy that was from Chicago. And Charlie and him, if memory serves correct, met through whatever special X-Men school, gifted school for the gifted that Charlie had to attend. Like he was matched with Charlie somehow through that school. And Charlie would open up a lot to this particular man about his vivid dreams, about I keep dreaming I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. And I don't know how he got assigned to this man, but I do know that also Charlie would say this guy is like the oracle. He also has dreams. Quite literally, Charlie uses that word. He's like, he also has dreams, and I've met him, and like he is someone that wants to meet you. That's what Charlie told me. I promise you I'm telling you the truth. I'm going to show you this. Anyway, the point is that when Charlie and I got together, before things blew up with the Kanye tweet, this man who Charlie would go see to discuss these intense visions that he was having about his death, this man didn't dissuade Charlie. He wasn't like, oh, like I was saying, like, oh, you're just probably need some sleep. Oh, you're just nervous. You're just excited. This guy pretty much all but confirmed to Charlie that he was going to die. He wouldn't tell him how. And he told him, like, but your death will save humanity. This was in 2018, early 2018, okay?
That's the worst type of friend to have. You know, you're like sick. You feel a little sick. You're like, man, there's something in my throat. And they're just like, oh, man, throat cancer, right? You think so? Because your grandfather had it, right? So it skips a generation. You probably, and you're in your 30s? Yeah, that might be it, man. Those are the worst friends. I had a dream, man. I had a dream something horrible happened to me. Oh, man, that's probably going to come true. Yeah, if you remember it, it means it's going to come true. Oh, man. You should be by yourself. I should go. I don't want to get caught up in this. This is the worst friends I have. They're the worst. I got friends like that. Anyway.
Okay. So I wasn't taking much of this conversation too seriously. Like I just didn't really know what to really make of it. But this man, he also expressed to Charlie a lot of interest in me and Charlie's friendship. And it was like a movie. Charlie had expressed to him that he felt, which I showed you guys, that he was like a time traveler and he had to come back and he had to find me for some reason. And then that man explained to him that we were all prisms of light and that certain prisms of light were meant to refract and others were not meant to refract, and that Charlie and I were refracting. Anyways, I'm telling you this. I have a text message to back this up. But also that Charlie's life was going to be short. I'm going to show you this message because I read these things. I don't know what to make of them.
See, that's the thing. This is why I said that this guy, whoever this person was an occultist. Because for you to be saying that we're all prisms of light and some refract, and I know for some people that might be like, oh, what do you mean? That's a cool thing to say, or you identify with that, and that's all good. But that's what somebody who is deep into the occult will be saying. For sure. Because if you are deep into the faith that she said he's in, that's not how you describe yourself. You describe yourself as, one of God's children. If it was a Christian man that he was meeting with, that's how he described himself as one of God's children. Like, you know what I mean? You wouldn't describe yourself as light and some people refract, and you wouldn't break it down like that. It's very geometric. It's very numerical, very almost like sacred geometry. And I know as much as people feel like stuff like that has value, it is something that has value in the occult realm. A lot of value that's why a pentagram, if you look at a pentagram, it's a geometric symbol when you look at it, right? There's a lot of those in the occult, but just the fact that I have to cut my nose hairs so bad and it's annoying me so much, okay? I had to say it out loud because it's getting to me. I can feel them. Anyway, that's what happens when you're 40. From your nose, from your ears, and it's very annoying. Let's, for all you youngins out there, that's what's coming to you. Okay, get a clipper. But yeah, that guy is definitely an occultist. For him to be saying that's another part of this thing that confirms it. Also, the fact that he is verifying these dreams. And if you read this text message, I don't know what this means. I'm just gonna say, because Charlie's like he's like misspelling things, you know, he writes, you know, SVS Hannity, like he's miswriting things. But he says, the dreams I get, he sends me sometimes. Yes, lots of darkness. I don't know what that means right there. The dreams I get, he sends me sometimes. I don't know what that means. Okay. But I do know one thing, and I'm just going off on, like, again, I don't know what that means. He was probably just trying to say the dreams I get, he agrees with. I don't know, something. But I do know people within that realm. I actually did an interview. I did an interview with a demonologist. The guy's name's Nathaniel Gillis. He was just mentioned on Rogan's podcast by Kurt Metzger. Great guy. And he was talking about how there are some occultists that are so powerful. I know, I'm getting out there. There's some occultists that are so powerful, they can travel into your dreams. They can come into your dreams, right? There's demons that can get into your dreams. There is people who could get into your dreams. I know what it sounds like, okay? This is the part of the relationship that we're in right now, guys. Everything, it goes on for a little longer, and then the weirdness comes out. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Doesn't get much weirder than this with me. Not much. Okay? Unless we're talking about mountains actually being giant petrified trees. I'm not going to bring it up. Okay? I'm not bringing it up. But yeah, this guy's definitely a cultist. I'm 100% sure about this. And that's why he's so interested in Charlie. He's a handler of sorts, like I said. That's why Charlie's calling him an oracle, because he is able to, again, I talked about this, how he's communicating, how he knows about all this, but that's why he seems like an oracle. He's some kind of handler. There are many people in Hollywood, so many people in Hollywood who have someone like this, and it'll always be a spiritual advisor. That's what they'll always be deemed as. Many, many people in Hollywood have this. And it always just seems like a spiritual advisor. It's never a priest. It's never an imam. It's never a rabbi. It's never that. It's always a spiritual advisor. Rampant in Hollywood. Rampant. They all have it. It's like having an accountant in some circles. So it's very odd that he has one of these. And then on top of that, he can't go anywhere without security. Again, that tells me asset. And then we're going to get into the gate program and the gateway program, just so we can touch on that. But he can't go anywhere without security. You know who else can't go anywhere without security? We'll talk about that after. Erica. She can't go out anywhere without security either. And you could say now, you could be like, well, I mean, that makes sense. It's like, kind of. It's the exact same security that was following Charlie around when he was young, like Candace said. But let's keep going.
Other than LOL to anybody laughing at my dream, okay? Charlie wrote, he won't tell you what he saw. He hasn't told me intentionally, just that I'm there and it's bad. And then he says, so the dreams I get, and then he sends me sometimes a lot of darkness. He says that I'm being shaped for a time to save humanity. It's just so crazy to me to read back on this and how many times we would have this discussion about Charlie telling me he was going to die young and that he was going to save humanity. It's just so bizarre. And then constantly telling me the next step, like I would have to defend him. There are so many messages like this. And again, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because it's such a nonsense. And it is so ironic to have people then mock me for saying that I had a dream. And I feel as strongly about the dream that I had, that Charlie was betrayed by people closest to him. Like nothing could stop Charlie from believing that he was going to die and that I would stand up for him. Nothing you can say, no jokes you can make, no shows you can no right. That is going to pull me away from the feeling, the knowing. It is so deep. It is a knowing. It's not even a feeling. It's a knowing. It's not a dream to me. It's like a prophecy. It's like Charlie was betrayed. I don't know what else to say to you. And I hope I give you guys the permission to believe in something like that, you know,
You definitely should. I think. What did David do for Moses? ? He said, be my David. I think that was a link to him being like Moses. Appears to be a misunderstanding, as David and Moses lived in different time periods. Okay. Be my David. Who was he referencing to him being if he was saying to Candace, be my David? Can you guys help me out with that? I'll probably know by the time I see this. Actually, I probably won't, because like I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up and then I gotta be a dad, because I like to do that, and then I like to be a husband. So maybe not, but yeah, let me know who in that situation when Charlie says, "Be my David," who is Charlie? Candace is David. Who is Charlie? Because I'd like to know what that relationship is, because it seems like it's playing out in real time. Now, going back to that text message, you know, at the end it says that she's the actual chosen one. I think there's a big reference to that. And again, I'm going to go back to him being an occultist, this person, because he knows he can see what their relationship is. He can see what she is supposed to be. He can tell what's going on there. That's not a regular ability. And this is just me calling it out. I've seen too much darkness like this. That is not something of God. And I don't think he was doing the right thing by Charlie. I think he was assigned to Charlie, and I think it wasn't in a good way. I think it was in the same way that, you know, Mr. West, the same way that he had handlers around him and it was driving him nuts. The same way that all these Hollywood people have handlers around them, and these handlers keep them in check. And I think that's what was happening with Charlie and this guy at a very young age, because this is back, 2018? Charlie was 31. How many years ago was that? So he was in his early 20s when he had this dude around him, like this spiritual guide that was telling him, yes, you're going to have these dreams and you are going to pass away. And that even speaks more to the Truman Show aspect, because he's saying, yes, you're correct. With the premonitions that you're having, you are correct. That is what's going to happen. I don't know, man. I just find that so weird. But also, I already went through all that with you guys the other day. And I'm telling you, go watch Eyes Wide Shut. It really matches up with Eyes Wide Shut. There's certain aspects, not the whole movie, but there's certain aspects where you can really look at Tom Cruise and be like, oh, that's Charlie. And you could look at Nicole Kidman and be like, oh, that's Erica. Like, if you watch it, you have to watch it, because it's like he goes to a place. If you haven't seen the movie, he goes to a place. It's a really big place, huge mansion. He's not supposed to be there. Someone that he knows gives him a code to go to this place, right? He's not supposed to go, but he has the code. So he ends up going. He goes inside. He's around the biggest people in the world. They're all wearing masks. He's wearing a mask, right? It's almost like what happened with Charlie. He's in a place where he's not supposed to be, and they realize as he's there that he's not one of them. Just like when Charlie was going through his revelations on Philadelphia and everything, they started realizing he's not one of us. Even to the point where Charlie says, when he's sitting down with Megyn Kelly, he says he's getting messages and they're saying things like you're not being a good team player. And Charlie says in the interview, he goes, "What team?" He goes, "I'm an American citizen." And you know what I mean? So it's like they realize he's not a part of this like we thought. And that's what happens to Tom Cruise in the movie. They realize, oh, he's not a part of this. And then when they're about to deal with him, somebody steps in and that person is taken instead of Tom Cruise. And that's why I told you about the whole exchange that happens at the end with the little girl. She walks off and these two men look back and they look back and they just kind of smile and they keep talking. And then the men kind of walk off and the little girl's kind of looking back and she leaves. It's very weird. And then you could even take that movie, because this movie is all about Mortal Kombat with a K, Ultra. It's all about, there's a deep theme of that. Everything that's going on, all of the cases, the files, what we're seeing right now with these Tylers that just pop up and do these things, it's these elite circles, massive elite circles that are being exposed. It's a movie that's touching on all of that, all of what's been going on from 2023 to 2026. It's covering all of that. And the movie was made, I think, in 1999. It's just astounding. Stanley Kubrick is the greatest director of all times. And he sacrificed himself for that movie. Okay? Just so you know, and not to get too into the movie, I'm going to go into this program thing, but there was a 15, maybe 20-minute clip in that movie that they took out, and he had an agreement that there was no footage that was to be removed or altered when he made a movie. When he made a movie, it was the whole movie. Here you go. The studios had no say in it. He made that movie in its entirety, then just randomly passes away. Okay, kind of like Andrew Breitbart, randomly passes away, and then they take liberty, even though it was in the contract, and the contract still stood. They took liberties, cut that part out, removed it. No one knows what was in that 20-minute chunk. We can only guess. It's such a wild movie. Such an inspiration, that guy. And then there's certain parts of it where you could look and you could fit Candace in there. Because it's like Charlie is sitting back saying, I know I'm not going to make it, and you're actually the true chosen one. You're actually the one that's supposed to make it. You're the one that's actually supposed to make the change. You know, Charlie was kind of just like the igniter of this whole thing, right? Because what would Candace really have to stand firm in right now if it wasn't for Charlie, right? And then when you go into the movie, you know, if you were to put Candace in the position of Tom Cruise, she goes into a place that she's not supposed to go into. She gets in deeper than she thought. And then someone has to step in and be the one to go instead of her. And you could make the comparison that it's Charlie. Charlie steps in. Andrew said it should have been you. Andrew said that to Candace. It should have been you. Why'd he say that? We still don't have an answer to that. Why he said anything like that. He said, you have to lay low now. So now she's doing what Tom Cruise did in the movie. If you don't know the movie, again, I know I'm spoiling it for you, but now she's doing what Tom Cruise did in the movie. Tom Cruise started laying low. He started really backing up. He didn't want to be associated, went to the wrong party. There you go. And they won't leave him alone. Wow. I didn't even realize this. This is very much like what Candace is going through. And they won't leave him alone at all. He's staying away. He's keeping quiet. They're at every turn. They're making sure to be around him. They're popping up in places where he would be. He's walking down the street. Somebody's looking at him. And it's exactly what Candace has been talking about. She just talked about this in not the last live, but the one before that, where she was like, they won't leave me alone. This is nuts. It's been over 2 years and they keep on doing this. They just won't leave me alone. That's exactly what was happening to Tom Cruise, to the point where they took the mask that he was wearing in the party and put it on his pillow. So when he walked into his house, his wife was asleep and the mask was beside her, showing him that, hey, we can get this close to you. We can stay this quiet and this stealthy, and we can get this close to you. And after that, that's when they go to the store, and then all of a sudden the exchange happens. But there's a lot of stuff in between. But it's just very interesting because that is what Candace is going through right now. She is not being left alone. She went in too deep. One of her friends has stepped in as the person who goes. He always knew he was going to be the person that goes. And in that movie, the girl who steps in for Tom Cruise and says, I will be the one, she does it like very matter-of-factly. It's not like she's scared. She's in the room. She knows what's going on. She's been there before. She's supposed to be there. But she just says, I'll go. Leave him. I'll go. And she just goes. And that's exactly what Charlie was doing. Charlie is sitting there like, hey, you know what? I already knew this was going to happen. If Andrew knew that it was supposed to be Candace, maybe Charlie did too. Never think about that. Anyway. Good morning. Good morning, folks. Then I go and look into this gateway program, right? So this gateway program is very interesting. It's a program where they're looking for things, and this kind of sets off some alarm bells because The Gateway Program, formerly known as the Gateway Process, was a classified research initiative developed in the 1970s and 80s, primarily through the collaboration of the Monroe Institute, a nonprofit organization focused on human consciousness exploration. This is what set off the alarm bells. The program aimed to investigate and enhance altered state of consciousnesses using audio-guided techniques, particularly brainwave entertainment through neural beats and hemisync methods, which seeks to synchronize the left and right brain hemispheres. Okay, so I found that very interesting, right? They're looking to explore consciousness. The core objective of the Gateway Process was to enable participants to achieve out-of-body experiences, transcend the physical realm, and potentially access intuitive knowledge, okay? Information beyond normal sensory perception. That's what Charlie had. If Charlie's been having this premonition, because it's not a dream Charlie's having, we know what happened to Charlie. If he's been having this premonition for the longest time, and Candace says he had to go to some kind of X-Men school, well, he is clearly someone that's exhibiting intuitive knowledge. He just knows without knowing. He can't explain it. He's always talking to her about it. He can't explain why he knows that she's the one that's supposed to be the chosen one. He can't explain why he's saying, you're going to be my David and I'm not going to make it. He can't explain it, but he just knows, right? Then according to 1983 reports, Colonel Wayne M. McDougal, I'll say McDougal, it's McDowell. The process was designed to enhance the coherence and amplify the brainwave output between both hemispheres, thereby altering consciousness and allowing it to move outside the physical sphere, potentially, and this is real, guys. I'm not making this up in case people didn't know about this, escaping the restrictions of time and space. Now, that also set off alarm bells. Now, this is where I'm going to get real deep, okay? So, I'm just saying, we're talking about time and space and freeing yourself from that. And then Charlie passes away. And the first thing that happens to Candace is that she has a very vivid dream, as vivid as the dreams that Charlie was having, that Charlie comes to her and says, I've been betrayed, right? Now, another thing that this Gateway program was trying to do is trying to help people with ESP. So this is what Charlie is displaying. When you really think about it, like, yes, he's a child of God. Yes, he's deep in his faith, but he's showing this intuitive knowledge. He's showing signs of like ESP. He's having these weird premonitions. It's like he has another gear, another consciousness gear that a lot of people don't have access to. Some people do as they learn about it. They have some kind of thing, but he seems like he's exhibiting that. So when you tell me that they're doing it to like free themselves, the restrictions of space and time, and then this guy passes away and then he comes to someone in a dream vividly, I believe it. There's people without that whole thing. And when they have a loved one that passes away, that loved one comes to them. That's like a known thing, that loved ones will come to you after they pass away, where you'll either smell them or you'll feel them, or, something will happen like that. That is a thing that happens very regularly. I've just heard about it. I actually interviewed someone who was what are they called? Oh, when it's the end of your life and they're with you. I forget what they're called. It's blanking from my mind for some reason. But I interviewed a lady like that, and she talked all about stuff like this. Like weird things where she's not spiritual. She's not super religious or anything. She's just documenting what she's seen being around 1,000 people who have passed away or been in the process of passing away. Very interesting interview. I do those too, Can't wait to do one with Baron. I'll do that with Baron 100%. But yeah, when I hear Candace say that someone came to her like that, I believe it. I believe it. When she says Charlie came to her like that, imagine this. Imagine, Candace is very open about the dream because Charlie came to her and said, I've been betrayed. Imagine if like Erica is having the same dream and Charlie's like, you betrayed me. Andrew, Tyler, Blake, You betrayed me. Could you imagine? And they're all just keeping quiet about it. None of them are saying anything about it. But they're just getting these repetitive dreams. It's Charlie, and he's like, I know what you did. I know what you did. My David is coming for you. Could you imagine? Obviously, that's not happening. They didn't do anything wrong. They're all cool. They're all just Liberty University alumni. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so that's the basics of this program, right? And then where it connects with this other program, the gifted school program, this is where it gets interesting as I'm doing this research, right? Because I then say, there's school age children who are in this program, and it says no, there's not. Okay, it says there's not in any agency program. That's not a thing. But it says, however, and it says unverified online. Now these unverified and unverified claims and online discussions, they're talking about people who are actually in this program here, because there's another program called the GATE program, and that's gifted and talented education. So it's literally people who are in that program talking about their experience. And of course, that's called unverified. So there is a connection. Okay. There's a connection, and it's called, the gifted and talented education programs in the U.S. during schools during the 80s and 90s. So this is picking up. One program was from the 70s to the 80s. This program runs from the 80s to the 90s. So it's like running right alongside each other, or at least passing the baton in a certain respect. And it makes more sense to go and get students because they're just learning. They're more malleable. You know what I mean? It just makes a heck of a lot more sense. That's how you get a Charlie Kirk, right? Some former GATE students report unusual experiences listening to guided audio sessions with ocean sounds and voice instructions similar to the Monroe Institute recordings, participating in meditation-style tests, code-breaking exercises, and ESP-like card guessing games. So that's classified as, I don't know if you know, but it's ESP. It's also could be classified as remote viewing. And then being tested by individuals not affiliated with their school, sometimes in trailers or isolated rooms. So this is what would happen with this GATE program. So Candace is saying that this guy, Charlie, has this X-Men school. That's what she's calling it. That's what the X-Men school was. It was a school for the gifted, extraordinary abilities, right? In actuality, just to break it down for you, in actuality, the X-Men was actually about this program. Just so you know, okay? Just so you understand, the X-Men was about this program, gifted and talented education, GATE. It was actually about that, because if you remember what I just said, they were looking at ESP. They're looking at all of these weird isolated rooms, all this training. Think back to if you watched X-Men growing up. What were they doing? They had these young people that were looking at ESP. They were working their powers. They had Wolverine and different people like that in isolated rooms because they wanted them to explore their powers. The X-Men was actually about this. So when Candace says this X-Men like school, I don't know if she knows how much she's hitting that on the nose, but yeah. So that's that program. So I just wanted to break that down for you. And Charlie did go to something called the Wheeling High School. It's not a gifted high school, right? I was like trying to purge this thing. I'm like, tell me about this gifted. And then finally, what question did I ask? Oh, I didn't even ask a question. I just said, this is a gifted school, because it's telling me that it's not. And I just say that it is. And then finally, it just goes, it's not a gifted school or a magnet school, but it offers gifted and talented programs. And that's when I was like, okay, so that's what Charlie went to. Charlie went to that. And then obviously there was a little bit of schooling outside of that. And this school is actually known for specialized extracurriculars, because it does offer a gifted, it offers many gifted programs. That's the school that he went to. So yeah, very interesting. That's what it seems like Charlie was in. That's where my mind goes when I hear all of that. He seems like a gifted dude. I think we could all agree he was gifted in speaking at the very least. But now we're getting into like too much time here. Let's jump into Erica. Let's jump into the topic of Erica, I should say. Let's go here. So someone said my take made the most sense. It was very thought provoking and respectful. Please do a follow up episode. Well, we know now. Let me follow back. There you go. Let's do it. Well, first I should talk about what I was saying. I was saying with Erica, I had a theory as to why Erica was the way she is. And what I mean by that is she seems to be saying things that aren't true. But here's the thing. Maybe she's not saying, and this is not me like getting her off the hook or anything like that. That's not what I'm doing. But it's just a theory that maybe she keeps telling all these inconsistencies because she actually doesn't remember. Maybe when she says something, maybe she has that memory. And then the actual thing that happened, she's like, oh, that's how that happened, right? That's why I compared her to Nicole Kidman in Eyes Wide Shut, because Nicole Kidman was showing that she had repressed memories, right? And that she was a part of something and she had no idea she was a part of it. She had no clue at all that she was a part of this thing. And she just kept thinking that she was having these nightmares. She kept thinking like, oh, these weird experiences that I keep dreaming about, they're just nightmares. But in reality, they were repressed memories. And that's what my thing about Erica was. Also, somebody said, do you think Erica got an invitation to be in the Miss Arizona pageant like the caller did? She did. I touched on that in the last episode. She actually did. She gave an interview that I could not find for the life of me, but I remember it so clearly, and other people do as well, unless it's like some kind of Mandela effect or something. She says in an interview that she did not enter. She did not sign up. She said she's never done pageant stuff in her life. Okay. And this is where it gets weird. Okay. She says she's never done any pageant stuff. And someone just approached her and said, you should be in the pageant. And she was like, okay. And she won. And then she went to the Miss USA and then she didn't place in the Miss USA or something like that. But she won Miss Arizona. Then when you actually look into it, that's her story. That's what she says. Okay. Then when I actually do some research into it, the research keeps saying that she was doing pageants in high school. And it's like, okay, well, is she just making that up again? Right? We view her as like, oh, she just keeps lying. But is she lying? Is she actually? Or does she actually have that memory? Is there something going on with Mortal Kombat with a K, Ultra? Is there something going on where she doesn't know? I'm just saying, if we can have the thought process of Charlie being in some kind of Truman Show, well, maybe she was too. Again, my whole theory was like she has these parents who are so deep in what you would like DOD contracts and defense and all this stuff that they're a part of. They're deep in it. How do you know that they wouldn't? How do you know you're not a part of something when your family is that connected? How would you ever know? Unless you had some kind of glitch and all your memories came back or something like that. And I know what I'm talking about is pretty wild, but still. Let's jump into this. And this is just like some of the examples I was using. Check this out.
This shocking video very closely.
I want to play this one first. Hold on. Let's play this one first. Actually, no. Let's play this one first because it's Erica here.
Involved. Watch this clip from the video.
We have 5 major threats that make our grid extremely vulnerable that we've presented to congressional officials. 1 being cyber, 2 being hackers, 3 being physical threats.
I did an explosive video on Erica in Romania.
I know I was muted. People are going to say you're muted. I know. Dora, I'll probably cut it out or something like that. Anyway, So there's that part where Erica's talking about that. But then there's actually this part. I found another video of it where they're actually going through the people who are in the video. So check this out. Listen to this.
Out that the substations are important
No, keep going.
parts of our national grid, but they're completely unprotected.
That's so weird. It's just pausing. Okay. So this guy, let's actually get the text on this guy. I don't know why it's pausing like that out of nowhere. So he is an advisor to Ronald Reagan, right? That's William Graham. Okay. So this is who she has associations with just through her parents. Then there's another guy in the video. Let's see if I can find him. Because he is like, let me see where he could be. Oh, he's not there. Is he up here? There's another dude in this video. And he's like ex-director of the agency. Okay, I can't find him now. But I only show that to just show this is who she's adjacent to. This is who she's in this ad with, right? Just to show you how deep it goes. And I don't know. Would you know? Like maybe that's why. Then my theory is maybe that's why she says, "Oh, I never dated in New York. I just wouldn't do that because I saw my friends and I just didn't want any part of that." And then people are like, "No, you dated. You dated two people. Here it is from 2013 to 2018. You dated people and then you got with Charlie after. You were with this guy, I can't remember his name, and then you were with Cabot Phillips, and then after that you were with Charlie." Maybe she doesn't know. I'm telling you, maybe she doesn't remember at all. Because that's what it seems like. Because otherwise, it's like, how are you so disrespectfully saying these things in front of us? And we know that we can just find this in a second. Like, that's what people have been doing. She's like, "I didn't drink." They're like, "Okay, here's a picture of her drinking. Here's a video of her drinking." Many videos of her, like, pulling out drinks in a club drinking. And it's like, what? Like, you just think none of us would notice? I don't know, man. It's just a theory, but it makes you think. Like, even with the alibis that are coming up, you know, it's like, why can't Candace just talk to Erica? It like has to be through Andrew, through this Justin dude. "Oh, well, you know, it's Sunday. Oh, I just need this. I just need the thing that she's blocking. I just need another picture without her finger there. Oh, well, you know, it's Sunday. She's wrapped up with the kids." It's like, you can think that that's like a CEO move. Like Erica just doesn't want to talk to her. Or you could think of it as they're not letting Candace get to Erica. They're not letting her talk to her. That's why even in the room, when Candace had that meeting with Erica, there was someone there. I thought it was just going to be Candace and Erica. But then that Justin dude was there. Why was he there? It doesn't make any sense. They could just talk and have talked it out. But what would Candace have figured out from Erica if it was just Erica sitting there? Charlie always had to have security around. Charlie always had to have Andrew around. Charlie always had to have Mikey McCoy around. And I mean, that's obviously a pleasure. Mikey McCoy is literally, you guys know, right? You guys know. I mean, you know how we feel about Mikey McCoy on this show, right? But he always had to have those people around. Now Erica always has to have Justin around. And Erica always has to have security around. It just makes you think. The Truman Show doesn't stop. Oh man, you saw Jim Carrey and he like he got to the wall and then he opened up the door and he bowed and he's like, "Oh, I'm out now." You think the Truman Show stopped? You think those producers were like, "Well, I guess the show's over"? They were like, get the next guy. Get him in there. Make sure he doesn't know anything. Let's keep this show going. You think that didn't keep on going after the Truman Show was done? After Jim Carrey was done his role? Come on, man. It kept going. And that's what it seems like is going on now. I know. It's wild stuff. That's again, another one. Like, this is why she said, like, "Oh, Charlie didn't have that. And Charlie didn't have any." This is where she says,
but
like,
he was not messaging people the day before saying, "I'm going to be murdered."
She's like, "I know, I have." She didn't know. She didn't actually know. And then all of a sudden, somebody was like, yes, he did. Andrew told me. And then she's like, oh, okay. I didn't realize I went through his signal. It's like, does she even have the phone? I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, not letting her off the hook or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to do. But it's like, just think about it. If you're going to have that thought process of Charlie was in some kind of Truman Show, and it does make sense, why wouldn't she as well? You know? It's like, yeah, you can have and this is where my mind's been, is that she was positioned to be around Charlie. You know, they're both going to Philadelphia at the same time, right? Okay. You know, so my thought process is like, oh, okay, she is like pursuing him. But no, maybe they're just brought together. These two are going to be together. She's going to be the watchful eye. That way, when he's by himself at home, he's not with somebody rogue. He's with one of our people. Yeah, she doesn't even know she's one of our people. I mean, it's so possible. So possible. When you read about all these programs and stuff. Anyway, I know I'm going real deep. I don't want to go past an hour. I want to go real quick. Let's just see the top comments. How about the fact that no security scheduled for the event the day after Charlie passed away? Yes, that is TWY Lathan or Talon then? Come on with these names. 7987. Yeah, we covered that. It's very weird. Doesn't make any sense to me. It's just one of the things that people are going to bring up 20, 30 years from now when they discuss this whole thing. They're going to be like, you know this, and you know this, and you know this, and whoever the new Joe Rogan is, he's going to be like, bro, I've been going deep on this thing. They're going to be talking about it, and they're going to be basically just all robots. You know, they're going to just be robots. It's going to be no talking. They're both going to have ChatGPT in their head. We're all going to be downloading the podcast at the same time. It's going to be that kind of thing. The lady is not crazy. She is traumatized. Yes, of course. That's what I was saying. If you think about it, like I brought it up already, think about it like Amanda Bynes or Britney Spears or any of those people. Like, that's actually what's going on with them. You know, it's actually... When people bring this up, Dave Chappelle covered this. I've talked about this so many times. Dave Chappelle said when he went to Africa, when he ran off, he came back and he did an interview with James Lipton in the Actors Studio. Great show. If you can find it, incredible interviews. But he sat down with James Lipton, and one thing that he said really stood out. He was like, there's no weak people who get to sit down with you, because James Lipton interviewed everybody, all the biggest actors. And he's like, you don't get to sit down. You never sit down with any weak people. He goes, we're all really strong people. We're at the top of our field. We're the best. He goes, so why do you think so many of us end up going nuts? He goes, maybe there's something happening in the industry that's making us act like that. He's like, there's no weak people. He's like, why do you think like this person snaps and this person snaps? He's like, maybe there's something really messed up in the industry, but he doesn't actually say what it is. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Next person says, bone chilling that the security for the day after the speaking engagement wasn't arranged. They knew Charlie wouldn't be there. I mean, that is what people are thinking. And I'm gonna heart all these. That is what people are thinking, man. It's a very weird thing, a very, very weird thing that they didn't have that. We heard a woman that has carried trauma from her teens to an adulthood. The trauma at the hands of demons posing as Christians. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's such a wild interview that she did on that live. It was so because you could tell, again, like I'm comparing that lady to like Britney Spears. I mean, listen to Britney Spears talk, same type of cadence and everything, same kind of scattered talk. Yeah, something deep happened to that lady. Very, very deep, you know. Look at how childhood trauma affects the brain, etc. Yeah, 100%. I didn't realize all these comments were just about that lady. Honestly. Let me go to somebody else here, just because we've touched on it already, and I already talked about her for like almost 10 minutes on my last podcast. Candace played her hand expertly with Erica. Erica is showing the world who she is. Candace just waited and let her Grinch herself. Now the gloves are off. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. That is, yeah, definitely. I'm going to stop it there, but because we're already at an hour, I wanted to stop right at an hour. So yeah. Good morning, everybody. Hope that was good for you. Candace, it is Friday. Look, it's 3:30 in the morning already, man. It's Friday. I don't know if Candace is going to go live. I don't know if this is her day to do something with Baron. You know, Baron's talking about doing that member interview. It might be with Candace. You never know. They're supposed to do something together from what I've heard, and it might be with her. So it might not be with me. I mean, a lot of people are saying maybe I'll do the second one, depending on what he's doing. But if she goes live, definitely expect an episode at 10 p.m. And if not, then I'll see you guys tomorrow. But I feel like she might go live. There's a lot of information to put out. She's been on vacation for a while. I think she might hit up the Friday, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll see in a few hours, all right? And if you hear something before I hear something, let me know on X, IG, whatever. Let me know so we can watch it together and then break it down afterwards. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here.